Up here so you can all see me. I'm standing. All right, for anybody that can stand, please stand and salute, and we'll start. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Cindy. Now, we have been calling and emailing our elected representatives, inviting them to come here and speak to us face to face, to connect with the people that they represent. Let's see who made it. Now, first up we have Diana Harshbarger of Barker. No. Next, now, Senator Bill Hagerty was just saying a few weeks ago about how good it made him feel when Donald Trump saw him on TV and told him about it. So I am positive that he will feel even better about coming here and seeing the people he represents face to face. So, Senator Bill Hagerty, everybody. Well, our last person we invited received 3 emails from us. Senator Marsha Blackburn. Right. It will come as no.
I can't. Don't worry about it.
Well, I'm told that Senator Blackburn is actually here. Now I know how a lot of you feel about it, but if she took the time to show up, then we can at least give her a cordial welcome. Senator Marsha Blackburn. Do you have a few words for your constituents? There she is, and this is probably a much better listener than if she were here herself.
I object. If Marsha Blackburn cannot show her face, does not have the interest in being with us, I refuse to be insulted by her picture.
Thank you. I know. Thank you, Carlene. For those who don't know me, I'm Sylvan. I'm the chair of the Washington County Democratic Party. And I think I have a solution. Thank you. We'll make it worth our time. All right. It's awesome to see you all here tonight. A lot of troublemakers in the room. Lots of I want to thank all the folks from Washington County, and also I saw a lot of people from Unicoi, Carter, Sullivan County, and we have folks from Greene County, so thank you all for being here. And before we welcome our other guests, this here is a call to action for all of you. We know that we have elected officials right now who are not representing us. We need to elect people who will represent us, who will support us. So by going here, you can give us the means to actually support local candidates who are going to fight for you. Our goal tonight is to raise $2,026, 2026, so that we can give a head start to all of our local candidates right here in our region. So I'm counting on you. We're going to be monitoring how much we're raising tonight, but get a little head start there, scan the code, give $5, and then we'll be on our way.
All right.
Thank you everybody for being here.
A true facelift. All right. We are here tonight because of the actions of a single person. Debbie Gehring, who is a retired teacher, invited our speaker to come, and I will let her make the introduction of someone who does show up.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the lovely introduction. I'm here before you at our amazing town hall of Unheard Voices because of John Lewis. He made a statement that I've come to live by. He said, when you see something that isn't right, you must say something. You must do something. Democracy is not a state, it's an act.
That's right.
Ordinary people with extraordinary vision can redeem the soul of America by getting in what I call good trouble, necessary trouble. So thank you for joining us here tonight in creating some good and necessary local trouble. Is local and state civic engagement. The idea that our voices matter, that participation is power, that change begins when we show up, when we ask questions, and when we hold our leaders accountable. We are honored to welcome Representative Gloria Johnson, a lifelong advocate for Tennesseans and a champion for those who've too often been left without a voice. Gloria spent 27 years as a special education teacher, standing up for students and educators when others would not. When politicians in Nashville tried to silence teachers and attack our public schools, she stepped forward. She ran for office, and she has fought ever since to put people first. Gloria's courage is well known across Tennessee. As a member of the Tennessee Three, she stood tall in the face of injustice, demanding action on gun safety after tragedy struck our schools. She's weathered political attacks and even an attempt to expel her from the legislature, all because she refused to back down from her principles. Tonight, as we discuss the importance of civic engagement, let's be inspired by Representative Johnson's example. Let's ask hard questions. Let's listen to one another. And remember that democracy works best when we all have a seat at the table. Please join me in welcoming Representative Gloria Johnson.
Thank you guys, thank you so much. It's so exciting to be here and to see all these beautiful faces who are fired up. So of course the first thing I want to do is get a selfie with as many of you as I can. So here we go. Everybody lean in, lift up your fingers, raise your hands, something, but let's all make our voices heard.
Over here now. We gotta be included.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys so much for showing up. I'm glad that you can, even though unfortunately your elected representation cannot. And to me, that's obscene. It is obscene that you can sit in Washington, D.C. and pass a bill that hurts all of our neighbors and pretend like you're not doing it and lie to every Tennessee family about what you're doing. And one of the things that is so evil and so devious about this big ugly bill is that most of the things are not going to kick in until after the midterms.
On purpose.
This is evil intention.
Yep.
That's all there is to it. It is going to hurt so many Tennessee families. 300,000 people stand, more than 300,000 people stand to lose their Medicaid. Medicaid serves 50% of our rural kids. It's a lot of disabled folks and seniors, but they want them out there working. They want 6-month-old babies working? What? I mean, do they not understand the large percentage of these folks that are literal babies or children?
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, Tennessee families are out there busting their asses, trying to keep the lights on, trying to keep food on their tables, trying to keep their kids educated. And that's why so much of the time, people in the very areas that desperately need our representation don't have time to follow politics the way that I do and some of us do. They don't understand that Tennessee Democrats are fighting for them. I had a bill to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, which in Tennessee averages about $20 an hour. Our elected representatives in the state are happy. They think $7.25 is just fine. You cannot live on that. There's a great living wage calculator from MIT. You can go to that MIT living wage calculator, pick out any county in this country, and it'll break it down exactly what a living wage is in your county. And it will break it down by what you pay for lodging, what you pay for groceries, what you pay for transportation. And it's clearly an average of right around $20 all across this state. But they think $7.25 is just fine for you. Year before last, they gave an almost $2 billion tax cuts to corporations in Tennessee. Most of them don't pay taxes in Tennessee. The largest tax cut in Tennessee history to corporations, and more than 50% of them, almost 80% of the money went to corporations outside of our state. Yes. And it is remarkable to me that this is what we're doing. This year, in our budget, millions and millions of dollars going to subsidize private education for wealthy families. Yes, the vouchers are a scam. It is a way to subsidize private education for the wealthy. Because all of us in this room know that most private schools cost far more than $7,000. And they all say, well, it's for those poor kids in those failing schools. The reason our schools are struggling is not because our schools are failing. It's because the Tennessee legislature is failing our public schools.
That's right.
They have intentionally starved them so they can make it seem like we need something else. What we need is to fully fund our public schools.
That's right.
To make sure that no matter how well-to-do or how your community struggles, every single classroom has a well-resourced classroom. And we need to make sure that in areas where kids are struggling, we have smaller class sizes. So every teacher has the opportunity to reach every student in that classroom. And we need to stop banning books. We need to stop banning real history.
Right.
I don't know what they're so afraid of. Yes, Tennessee is home to the KKK, and we're seeing it loud as ever right now. Banning DEI, banning people, for heaven's sakes. The new Klan, instead of wearing capes and hoods, they're wearing masks and disappearing people in our community. The reality is, it's happening all across this state and all across this country. And we need to understand the facts. It is not a crime. In the vast majority of cases, if you are an undocumented immigrant, it's not criminal.
That's right.
It's not even a misdemeanor. It's a civil penalty.
Yep.
That is it. So don't let people say that it's a crime to be undocumented. 95% of the time, it is not. Perhaps you were deported and came back against orders, and then that might be a problem. But the reality is, yes, all of us want any violent criminals to be sent back to their country. But we already have a process for that. That's not what's happening. What they are doing are kidnapping and disappearing people on the streets, the new Klan, without due process, without identifying themselves, and under cover of masks. It is unconstitutional.
That's right. They
They have been told it's unconstitutional. My question is, why do Republicans hate America? Why do they hate our Constitution? My own colleagues in the State House, who say they love the Constitution, want to prevent undocumented students from attending public schools, which our U.S. Constitution clearly allows. And we're banning books for kids, typically LGBTQ authors, black authors, and brown authors. Every single child in every single school needs to see themselves in the materials in Christ. Because it takes all of us to make this country the beautiful, multiracial country that we are. And everyone deserves their history to be told and to be a part of the history of this country. And don't call yourself a Christian if you don't espouse the values of Christ. Christ was very clear. Feed the hungry, heal the sick, welcome the stranger. They're not for any of those things. But you guys know this. I don't want to talk a lot about this because I want to hear your questions, what you have to say. I will answer every question I know the answer to. And if I don't know an answer, because I'm not at the federal level, I'll get you the answer if I don't know it, and I'll tell you I don't know it. But I want this to be your time. I don't want it to be my time. But I want to make sure that as I end these remarks, I want to leave you with hope, because there is so much hope. I see it every day. And I see it every day in the next generation. Congressman John Lewis called on us to get in good trouble. As my shirt, and a lot of y'all have good trouble shirts on too, I noticed. Necessary trouble. And that call did not end with him. That was the inspiration for me and my colleagues. We talked about John Lewis before we went to the well with the Tennessee 3. It lives on in the streets, in the classrooms, and in the young voices rising up to lead. One of those voices belongs to Tybre Faw, a local young man who attends Science Hill High School. Tybre was just a middle schooler when he felt called to honor John Lewis's legacy. He made it his mission to meet him, and that meeting turned into a beautiful bond. Since then, Tybre has carried the torch of justice with wisdom, courage, and grace beyond his years. He reminds us that good trouble is alive and well, and that the future is in powerful hands. Please welcome Tybre Faw.
Thank you for having me today. How many of you have had that one person in your life who truly inspired you, who lit a fire within you, who changed the direction of your life? My name is Tybre Faw. I was just 10 years old when I met Congressman John Lewis. I had read about him, studied his courage on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and I had to meet the man who taught the world what it means to get in good trouble. I remember holding his hand as we marched to the bridge together in summer. It was one of the greatest honors of my life. Congressman Lewis showed me that good trouble is not just a slogan, it's a call to action. It means standing up when it's easier to sit down. It means speaking out when it's easier to stay quiet. It means fighting for justice even when your legs are shaky. He told me, never give up, never give in, and never give out. Those words has became a promise I carry every day because I saw him live them. Even when he was tired, even when he was sick, Congressman Lewis kept fighting for voting rights, for equality, for the dignity of every human being. That's why I'm here today on this National Day of Action to tell you that good trouble is still needed, voter suppression is still happening, racism and injustice are still happening, but so is hope, so is courage, so is the spirit of John Lewis. I am just one young voice, but he taught me that one voice, grounded in love and truth, can change history. So can yours. Let us honor Congressman Lewis, not just with our words, but with our actions. Let us get into good trouble by registering people to vote, by standing up for those who are silenced, by refusing to let hate have the last word. Let us keep walking, even when the roads is hard, because my friend, my mentor, Congressman John Lewis, showed us how. Thank you, Congressman Lewis, for showing me what good trouble looks like and trusting me to carry the torch forward. Thank you all so much.
Now it's time to turn the mic over to you, the voters, the neighbors, the unheard voices of Tennessee. A chance to voice concerns for all to hear. I've said a few outline here. This is a chance for you to voice your concerns, or if you have a specific question for Representative Johnson to answer. Raise your hand if you wish to speak, and someone will bring you a mic. And there is a lot going on, and we all have a lot to say. But let's try to keep it clear and brief so that everyone has a chance to say what they need to say here. Good. One down front. Yeah. In the purple down here.
Noel.
I'm concerned about what's happening with women's health in this state. I understand that OBGYNs are leaving, rural hospitals are closing, and as a woman, I want to know about reproductive rights in the state and what you see happening. Thank you.
Yes, it's something that we should all be concerned about. We know that more than 50% of our counties do not have an OBGYN. Do not have one. We also know that since the Dobbs decision, we have 21% fewer folks coming to do their residency in OBGYN in Tennessee. So when you gain that out, over the next few years, we will have fewer and fewer and fewer OBGYNs. This makes this state very unsafe for women.
not to mention the docs that are just leaving to go to Canada or other states. I know one that's moved and gone to Colorado, one to North Carolina. So it is a serious problem. The reason they're not coming here to do their residency, it used to be that when you come to do, you can do the 100% of your residency in this state, and now you cannot. In order to get certified as an OBGYN, you can't get all the practice you need in Tennessee, so you have to split your time in another state. And what we know about residents is more than 50% usually stay in the state where they do their residency. So they're not going to be staying here. So women in Tennessee are going to be in trouble. Imagine the 10-year-old forced to carry a pregnancy in one of those counties with no OBGYN. An hour to an hour and a half away from a doctor, when we know a child carrying a pregnancy is 2 times likely to die carrying that pregnancy. We are already in the top 1, often number 1, for maternal mortality in Tennessee, twice that rate for children, 3 times that rate for black women. We've got a problem that we've chosen to keep by not expanding Medicaid. We know with the big ugly bill passage, we stand to lose at least 9 more rural hospitals. This puts Tennesseans at risk. It puts their health at risk. All of the things that make our country great, they're destroying this current administration. Don't claim to make America great when you are destroying all the things that we do to lift people up and help people do better. That's why we're great. That's why when I was in Greece for vacation in June, I would run into people from all different countries, and they say, "Oh, America is such a great country. You guys are going to fix this. You're going to get rid of them in 3.5 years." God, I hope so. It's hard when the new Klan is disappearing your neighbors to feel like that's going to happen. When they're passing racist legislation right in front of your face, and no matter how loud you are, they still pass it and deny it the entire time. There is some sort of twisted something wrong with the soul of these people who don't care about the folks they represent. I represent about 70,000 people. They didn't all vote for me, but I'm going to do what's best for the majority of that 70,000. And I'm going to make sure that I listen to them, and I'm going to make sure that I fight for affordable health care for every single one of them, and for a great public school for every one of their kids, and for paid family leave, and for child care for every family. No matter what they want to destroy, Democrats want to build. It's easy to tear something down, and Republicans are tearing things down like at a level I've never seen before. If you want to do something good and something right, and if you want to make this country better than it is, do something good for people. Lift people up. Don't ensure that they're sick and hungry. Who in their right mind wants more kids in Tennessee to go to bed hungry? How do you sleep at night? It keeps me up at night, and I'm not doing it, I'm fighting it. And I know that you guys worry about your communities, your neighbors, your families. Let's pull together, let's create this circle of love that cares about our community and cares about our neighbors. Nobody is looked fondly upon in history who banned books or were racist and bigots. That used to be a shameful thing. We've got a president who thinks it's kind of cool. That's sick, and we need to make it sick again. We need to make it shameful to be a racist and to be a bigot again. Sorry, I got a little off topic.
Let's see. In the middle, on this side. Great hair. Yes.
I want to talk on a federal level, but it touches all of us. When the big federal bill was passed, before it was passed, now I don't know if these figures are right, because you never know if they're telling the truth, but $170 billion. $170 billion seems to me like that would establish a really good working immigration system that isn't cruel or unjust or un-American. We already have a lot of the groundwork and the foundations for it, and it seems to me like we could manage that instead of building concentration camps. This bill was ran through without debate, without input, and voters had no idea what was going on for the most part. And it was just to save us, because they had blown through their budget like 2 or 3 months early with all of their shenanigans. And, they don't tell people about that. That's why they had to pass it before the 4th of July. It has nothing to do with anything patriotic. So the last thing I wanted to say was them using the military to frighten immigrants and to make everyone afraid. I don't know where this quote comes from, but I really like it. It says, the U.S. military is the army of the people, for the people. It does not exist to protect power, and it must never, ever be used to intimidate or silence the very people it was created to defend.
Yes.
Thank you. You're exactly right. It created this big budget for ICE. And here's the reality. I think I said this. We all want violent criminals who are here illegally to have to go back to their countries. We already have a process to do that. If these folks really wanted to fix our immigration issue, which we can agree there is an issue, then what you need are Congress members to sit down at the table and write a policy that works for everyone. Mass deportation is not a policy. It's a show of force, power, and control, and it's bigotry. And it's quite frankly scary, especially when you are not allowing due process. Now, some of us, there are folks who don't agree with this. President Obama deported more people, and he did it with due process and through the courts and following our Constitution. So it can be done. But they're not interested in that. They're interested in terrorizing Americans, instilling fear for those who may be undocumented, but it's not just the undocumented. They are disappearing American citizens. They're threatening now naturalized citizens. I went to Greece with my friend, newly elected Gabby Salinas from Memphis. And she is a naturalized citizen. She's the first Latina in the Tennessee legislature. Wow. And she is originally from Bolivia, but is a naturalized citizen thanks to a Republican, Fred Thompson, which made sure she and her family were able to go through that pathway to citizenship. But they are lying to us when they say, do it the right way and you'll be fine. They've taken away the right way. They've closed the ICE office in Knoxville. Folks are showing up for their appointments that were made months ago to a closed sign on the door saying, well, you better get to Nashville in the next 2 weeks or you're in trouble. But then people are getting arrested in Nashville. So they're trying to do it the right way. Got a teacher friend who's got an assistant in her classroom from Venezuela. She's one of the groups, they've taken the whole country's visa away. She was here legally on a visa, and then they revoked it and say she has to be back by September. She has to be back to her country. Well, she's been here a long time, and if any of you know, teaching assistants don't make a lot of money. Her passport expired. She didn't have money to fly back to Venezuela to renew her passport. How's she gonna get home now without a passport? How's she gonna fly back to Venezuela? She's looking at scary, dangerous ways to get back there. We've put her in that position. This president has put her in this position. Her community loves her. Her school loves her. And this is what we're doing to people who did it the right way, who came here the right way. Because we need them. We had Tourism Day on the Hill in Nashville. I had some folks from Sevier County come and say, look, one person represented the hospitals, one was the restaurants. We cannot, our hotels cannot stay open without immigrant workers. Our restaurants cannot stay open without immigrant workers. A friend of mine has 6 restaurants in Sevier County. She said, Gloria, I'm a rule follower. I don't hire undocumented immigrants, but I do spend money to get H-2B visas. I can't remember what they are, but she said, I spend $3,000 to $4,000 for these visas to bring people over. They come for 6 months with these visas, have to go back 1 month to get them again to come back. She said, people in Sevier, they can't live here in Sevier County on the wage, on a regular wage after the fire. They only built back fancy housing, not affordable housing. So if you can't live in the town where you work, it makes it hard to get employees. And she said, we're seeing tourism drop in Sevier County every year. Because what happens, she says, you'll come in my restaurant and it'll be a line out the door, an hour-long line out the door, but people get there and they're like, well, half the restaurant's empty. What's your problem? Well, the problem is they don't have enough staff. And she says people will decide next year, well, we're going to go someplace else because we had to wait so long here. And tourism is our #2 industry in Tennessee. And I think y'all know what number one is, agriculture. And what's going to happen there? It's dumb. It shows very little thought of who America is. And it's mean and bigoted as well. And I'd like to think that's not who most of us are.
That's right.
Let's get somebody from this side. How about the ladies in the back?
Hi, my name is Karen Cross. I live in Bristol and I'm a retired teacher. And thank you, Representative. We really appreciate you being here to answer our questions since our elected representatives will not show up. My husband and I are on the Affordable Care Act, and we are going to have to pay more. And I had asked my representative Harshbarger about this, and she lied to my face. And then went on social media and said she hadn't, but she did. She lied to me, and I've been in contact with her office, and I cannot get her to reply to me personally. My problem is, I know that we're going to be paying more, but I can't find where to determine how to budget for this and what we're going to have to do, and if I'm going to have to try to go back to work or what's going to happen. I can't find any information so that I know what to expect come January 2026. And I have done a lot of research, and do you have suggestions on where to go to get information on what's going to happen? I have no idea what to do.
Well, I'll tell you, check your emails. Make sure you're looking at your emails. A friend of mine just got an email the other day. She is a CPA, self-employed CPA. She also is on the ACA. She's been paying $500 a month. I think she probably makes a pretty good salary. She's been paying $500 a month. She was notified it's going to go up $2,000 a month. Oh. It's going to be $2,500 a month is what her email said. And she said, I'm going to drop it. She said, I can't afford that monthly amount for insurance. She said, I will be without insurance if that's what it's going to be. So she's sending me that email because I said, I want to see it for myself. So I haven't seen it. This is just what she told me. So I'll look at it, but when I do look at it, when I get it, I will be posting it on all my social media so people will know what to look for. What I had heard was it could be 8,000 more per year for a total for the year. So that's more than what I had heard, but you were right, we don't really know yet. But they removed the subsidies, and it's really sick. To think that we're going to take away the health care. And this doesn't even count in the 17 million who are going to lose Medicaid. These are folks paying for the ACA that are going to have to stop because they're not going to be able to afford it now when the subsidies were removed. And this was all paid for when it was done by the Obama administration. But all of this is about transferring wealth to billionaires. And doing this, we know that the tax cuts are going to start early. Those are going to be seen quickly, but it's going to be after the midterm when we start seeing SNAP benefits gone, when we start seeing Medicaid gone, and those types of things. And you know, the nuance around the no tax on tips is really not going to help anybody. The reality is it only lasts for 2 years. The tax breaks for billionaires last forever. But this whole tax on tips that isn't really only lasts 2 years. And that's if you itemize, and I don't know a lot of wait staff that itemize. So that's not real either.
Wow. How about over here in the corner?
Thank you. Thank you for being here. My name is Bethany West McCarter, and before COVID, I was an ESL teacher. My biggest concern right now, I have a lot of them, but this is my biggest concern. What can we do as a community to protect our neighbors from ICE?
There are a lot of people who are going to be in harm's way over the next few years, and our communities have to be the safe places and develop those safety nets for our community. I just went to a meeting yesterday in Knoxville. We have a group called AKIN, which stands for Allies of Knoxville Immigrants Neighbors. And so this organization is working with Turk out of Nashville, Tennessee Immigrant Rights and Refugees Coalition. They're a great source of help if you want to reach out to them. You know, even if you could come to an AKIN meeting in Knoxville, because they really set up community. We have folks that are going to that ICE office on Wednesdays. That's when the meetings all happen on Wednesday. They're showing up there so that when people go up and they see the sign on the door that says closed, they're telling them what to do. Take a picture of the door so that they know you went to your meeting. And then if they need a ride to Nashville, try to help them get away to Nashville. We've had breadwinners from families who have been detained. One man was detained. He was the breadwinner for the family of 3 kids, an 18-year-old and 2 younger. And so the community came together and got them groceries and rent and just, you know, trying to help. There's organizations like Centro Hispania that are trying to help with notaring, like, what is it called? Guardianship and that sort of thing if parents are gone for the kids for school or for medical care. So just whatever in that community you can do. We've got a group in that is going to the lockup facility. Knox County has agreed to be one of the detainment places for immigrants in Tennessee. I know Knox County does it and Putnam County does it. So people here will probably get taken to Knox County. And there are people that show up there to see who was there, if they can get them a lawyer and all that kind of stuff. So we've just got organizations that are banding together, and then we have folks doing block walking in immigrant communities so that they can take the pamphlets and flyers of who to contact, you know, where you can get help, how to avoid being kidnapped and disappeared, that sort of thing. So I would reach out to some of these organizations to get help. And the thing that I love about AKIN is there were so many new people at that meeting last night because they're just so furious and they want to do something. They'll give you something to do the next week. So there's plenty of actions that people can take, because I know for me, I have a friend who works really hard. She's an attorney, but she's also got another business, and she gets so frustrated at everything that's happening, and she gets angry. And I said, you have to be doing something to push back every week.
Yeah.
I don't care if you just make 30 minutes to make phone calls or to do something. If you're not pushing back, it will just eat you up if you're not able to do something to push back. So just getting out there and being able to do something to help. Like I said, well, I'm pretty good at getting friends to give me $100 Kroger cards. If I get a whole bunch of those cards, will that help you help families? Absolutely. So just any way that you can help, but you've got to start those groups within your own community to know and like to show up. If you hear where they're doing these raids, like it's not the same in Nashville, because Nashville is a blue city or Memphis is a blue city. They're really targeting them and making this big show of force. They're less likely to do that in red counties, but it's still happening. And we need to be witness, and we need to video, and we need to let people know that they should never talk to them, that they should not open their doors to them, and all of those things. But just be a resource in your community for those things.
It looks like we have some handmaidens over here.
Blessed be the fruit.
I had addressed this to Senator Blackburn, but as she's not here, I'll still speak as if she was. Senator Blackburn, I was raised in a fundamentalist church where women were taught our only purpose was to obey our husbands and bear as many children as possible. I saw how controlling women's fertility kept them trapped and unable to leave abusive marriages. I remember being told that if a man hurt me, it would be my fault for leading him astray. I saw firsthand how girls and women were silenced when they were sexually abused, raped, and assaulted, and how their futures were erased before they even had a chance to begin. And now, I see Tennessee's laws and your so-called push to bring Christian values into our government, giving power to that same mindset. Blessed be the fruit. Is that the world that we're building? When you strip away reproductive rights, you're not protecting families. You're creating a world where women have no escape, no autonomy, and no voice. Religious extremism doesn't have to come to District 1 because it is already here. And every law that you push makes it stronger. How long before every woman here is nothing more than a vessel for the state? What will you do to stop this descent into theocracy? Or will you sit there under his eye while the women of District 1 are sacrificed to it?
Let's keep the singing alive.
I'm one of the people that's going to be losing their Medicaid next year. I cannot work due to the fact I have 3 herniated discs in my back, and I have tachycardia, which is a rapid beating of my heart. My question to you is, how can I still afford my medications and get the surgery that I'm going to need, because I do need to get surgery to have these discs repaired. And I'm just scared because my depression medication is $800 out of pocket, and my tachycardia medication is $5,000 out of pocket.
I wish I had an answer for you. And there are thousands of people like you in this state. And my congressman said, get off your ass and get a job. That's what Tim Burchett said. Tim Burchett has never had a full-time job that was not elected office in his life. Privileged child who has never had a full-time job that gave him health care. He started a business that was a mulch business. I believe it caught on fire. It was illegally done. He had a contract with the city. They canceled the city. They canceled the contract, and he ran for office. It's what they do. That's what, when you have privilege, you've never had to worry about paying for yourself or where I'm going to get insurance. You tell a disabled person to get off their ass and get a job. And that's evil. And that's not why he was sent to Congress. He was sent to Congress to make sure that folks that couldn't work were able to get the health care that they need. And he said on television the other day that health care is a privilege, not a right. He's dead wrong. And how dare a man who couldn't hold his own job or keep a business afloat, but can run for elected office and get government health care his entire career. It makes me sick. And walk around in his Carhartt jacket like he's just a good old boy. He's no more a good old boy than Trump is. I mean, they may not be very smart, but they don't care about the people in their districts. 30,000 people are going to lose Medicaid in his district, my district. It keeps me up at night, but not him. He's running around yucking it up. It is remarkable to me. We have got to do better at getting our message out in these counties because they are not helping people. People are struggling, and it is because of Republican policies. We want to fight for them. We want to make sure that everybody has a living wage and child care and a great public education and health care that they deserve, like every single developed nation has, except for us. You tell that sick baby they don't get to go to the doctor, because I'm not doing it. I say we sit them in front of the hospitals and let them turn people away. Or take our health care away as an elected official. I'll tell you this. When they were trying to expel, or did expel, Rep. Justin Pearson and Rep. Justin Jones tried to expel me, I was the old person. And so, 60 years old, and they knew that I have health problems. So that night, the night before the expulsion, they didn't go see either one of the Justins. They came to my office. The ethics lawyer and the head of HR. And they said, if you resign, you won't lose your health care. But if you get expelled, you're going to lose your health care. And I said, is that a threat? Yeah. Oh, no, we wouldn't do that. Well, the hell you just didn't. Because that was a threat. And they were trying to get me to resign and scare me because I'm 60 years old with a heart condition, and they wanted to threaten my health care. And I said, you know what, I'll just be like all the other Tennesseans they refuse to give care to, and I'll figure out what to do. Because I don't believe that I should have it in other. I will fight for every single Tennessee care as long as there is a. And so will my colleagues.
Gentleman in the back with the mustache.
Thank you for coming. In the organizers, I know it helps us all. Helps me. Our worst expectations have arrived. I'm not coming, you're here. So, and this is a complicated answer, but easy question. No, it's not easy either. Either way, it's complicated. What are the priorities give me two or three priorities that we can do. Sometimes I get so frustrated, I just don't know where to go. I mean, I'm here tonight, but if you're gonna take away a lot of things, what are the things that we absolutely have to do that have to be done aside from everything else? That's my question.
Thank you. Probably every event I go to, that's what people want to know. What do I do? How can I help? What's the most meaningful? And so everything is important. People will say, does it really matter to call my reps or email my reps and all of that? Yes, it does matter. I have watched at the State House, I've watched bad bills get dropped because they got so many phone calls and emails that it scared them with the voters. Most of the time, they don't get scared with the voters, they worry about losing their donor dollars. But if it's a whole lot of phone calls, it can scare them about that legislation. And so the power of those phone calls and showing up to protest. You know, during COVID, there was almost nobody at the State House. And they really thought they were getting away with stuff. But now that that's gone and people can come back, we need people up there in those committees every day. Especially folks with, you know, when it comes to gun violence and those things, just those covenant moms sitting in those committees with their sign every time the committee was open. It makes it harder for them to do and say what they're doing. And we need to make this as hard for them as possible. We need to shame them because they are bringing shame on our state. And we need to show up where they are. Get your phone out and say, why did you bring this legislation that's unconstitutional to refuse kids an education? Make them answer. Put that phone, record what they say.
That's right.
They need to be held accountable. What I saw with the undocumented students bill last year, the groups that organized to protest and fight that bill were really brilliant. They showed up. It was a room like this. It was in the committee room. And one person stood up and said the pledge. Two more stood up saying the pledge. And two more until the entire room was on its feet saying the pledge. And Highway Patrol like, well, we don't want to grab anybody saying the pledge. You know. And then another time it was prayer. And then one time I'm sitting, it's in my committee. And I'm sitting there. Y'all, so, I can't remember what it was. Something pretty horrible was said. And this 10-year-old girl comes out of the crowd and gets on her knees right in front of me, holding up her sign, "Don't hurt my friends."
Jeez.
It's powerful, you guys. It is powerful. We stopped that piece of legislation. We stopped it this time. Will they bring it back? I keep getting asked that question. I think they will. I'm wondering though, on an election year, do they really want to look that evil? I don't think they care. So far, they haven't seen any consequences for their bad behavior. And so that's what we've got to start showing them. But that protest was powerful. And when the Senate sponsors' own pastor came out against the bill, because they went to his church, and they put flyers in the parking lot on every car.
Hell yeah.
And they talked to his pastor. That's what we got to do. We got to be there, we got to show up, and we got to show them for who they are, because they are not practicing Christianity, no matter what they say.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Looks like we have a suffragette over here.
Honored guests, gentlemen and ladies, I bid you good evening. I am Mrs. Schaefer of Livingston Creek Road, and I welcome the opportunity to speak. On August 18, 1920, Tennessee cast a deciding vote to ratify the 19th Amendment, making women's suffrage law of the land. Women's constitutional right to vote is now at risk from the so-called SAVE Act that requires women voters to show a birth certificate to prove their citizenship. Of course, this will mean that any married woman who took their partner's name will have problems voting. When the rumors start that you have to present a birth certificate, people will stay home. When the rumors start that you must have a passport, people will stay home. I tell you, I didn't bust my garters fighting for years for the right to vote, to have it stripped away by some creepy buddy of Jeffrey Epstein. How can we make sure that Tennessee doesn't have something up its sleeve?
Well, we have to, because we've heard a lot of the groups out there saying women don't need to vote or shouldn't have the. It's shocking to me, but they are publicly saying it on social media. It's a Christian nationalist thought process. I mean, that is literally what we're seeing. And so we've got to hang on to this, and we've got to fight back every time. Proud to say, I was just discussing yesterday that we're working on a suffrage museum in Knoxville. So a building has been acquired, and there's going to be a dinner in August. You can probably find out if you want to reach out to me. I can tell you about it just to make sure that that happens. But when in my life did I ever expect that there are people publicly saying that, dang, we shouldn't have given women the vote? But this is where we are with this controlling group of white supremacists, Christian nationalists, whatever you want to call them, fascists, but that is what we're dealing with.
Lady Lucia.
Hello, Penny Reese, public school teacher, 27 years. We have a lot of educators, retired educators, including yourself, former educator here. And I have two questions specific to the state, because I know you sit on the Senate Education Committee. God bless you. First question is with the impoundment of federal funds for this year, particularly regarding ELL. I'm pretty sure that we, in our state bylaws, mandates, are mandated to provide services for those students. Has there been conversations at the state level on how we're going to make that happen if those funds are not released by the federal government? And secondly, what do you know that is on the legislative slate for the next term in Tennessee? And, you know, what are the things that we can do as teachers and educators and supporters of public education to address those future pieces of legislation?
You know, one of the biggest things is teachers have to stay informed. They are coming for your jobs. I mean, there's no question about it. We heard Larry Arm from Hillsdale College say that teachers are the dumbest people in colleges, and teacher education is the dumbest part about university, and you don't have to go to college to be a teacher. If that's the case, how come everybody's not doing it, and how come we're having a hell of a time get teachers in classrooms? I mean, the reality is, it's a tough job. It's a tough job that we love, because there's nothing like it, man. There is nothing like seeing a kid learn something that they never thought they could, and you help them get there. That is why we do it. We don't do it for money. However, we should be paid a living wage for what we do. You should be able to live in the district where you teach. That is the truth. And you shouldn't have to work a second job because you choose to do the most important job in the country. Because there are no doctors, there are no lawyers, there are no, well, I would like to say there's no elected officials without education, but sorry folks, I can't say it, I can name names. But I would like to see more educated folks in elected office. And I'm referring to my colleagues across the aisle, of course. Because I can tell you, you know, people all the time, I'll ask people to run for office, and I'm like, I don't know if I know enough about the issues, and I don't know if I could get the votes. I can tell every person in this room already knows more than most of my colleagues across the aisle. It's just a fact. You guys know what's up. You're paying attention. You already know more than they do, and we need you to step up. And teachers have to step up, and teachers have to be tougher. And y'all, some of the most important races in your counties and cities are school board. Yes. It is so important because they're doing everything they can. This whole reason they're getting rid of the Federal Department of Education, they don't have to give us any money. And the state, you don't have federal guidelines anymore. They're talking about civil rights guidelines. That's what they're trying to get rid of. They don't want to have to serve special ed kids because they're expensive. They don't want to have to give more money to those schools because they're underserved and need more resources. You guys, much of it just comes back to making sure that the money all goes up to the wealthy and doesn't go to the folks who need it the most. And so for us with education, with the vouchers, we've got to worry about even more vouchers because they're not telling us which kids never went to private school. Because every other state with vouchers could tell you 70 to 80% of the kids getting a voucher never attended a public school in the first place. It's all subsidizing education, private education for the wealthy. And so we're not going to be able to give you the numbers because they're intentionally not asking that question. Because they don't want to gather that data. Because they don't want you to know. And here's a really scary thing as for teachers that really need to pay attention to. State school board meeting this week, somebody said, well, we need to get rid of a foreign language as a requirement. What? Y'all, good luck getting into a competitive college if you don't take a foreign language. They want you to be stupid. They want to limit kids from going to universities and competitive college by telling them they don't have to take a foreign language. This man, who was so proud of himself for bringing this up in the school board meeting, well, I graduated 50 years ago. And I don't mind a southern accent, but don't tell me you haven't been in a schoolhouse in 50 years and you've decided that we need to take foreign language away. These bigots, I am telling you, that's what it's about. But if you want to do well as a young person, we have a world economy. Anybody ever heard that? I mean, you have to deal with other people. And the folks that I know who have the best jobs speak multiple languages. I just said I was overseas. Everybody I met did 3 or 4 languages. I'm over here embarrassed I have one. You know, I did take 2 years of Spanish in college, but I didn't keep it up and I don't remember it. It's an amazing skill to have and it benefits you in your future. Why would we want to take that away because of hate and bigotry? It's outrageous to me. These folks are setting us back not 50 years, 100 years. We've got to stay on top of it. Teachers need to stay on top of it. They're going to expand vouchers. They're going to, my fear is, you know, we really slowed down the Hillsdale charter idea because locals can refuse the charter schools, but of course the state can override it, but the state looks kind of bad if they override every single local, so they do about half of them right now. But what they can do is bring little pop-up Hillsdale private schools that get a voucher. So there's where your indoctrination is. We're not indoctrinating kids. We want them to be critical thinkers and learn as much as they possibly can and be successful. And even if they're the first kid in their family to ever go to college or graduate high school or whatever it is, that's what we want. They want rule followers they can control, teach their brand of patriotism and their whitewashed version of history. That's what they want.
Let's get the guy in the gray and white shirt over on the far end. Yep. Yeah. Sorry.
Yes, I like what I've heard so far, but what is the game plan for the midterm election? There's a lot of things going on, and you know, we can talk from now on, but the time is coming, we're gonna have to be prepared. So what's the game plan?
Well, in each and every district, the game plan is to come together with like-minded folks, whether it's the Democratic Party in your district, and talk about who's the best qualified person you have to run for each of these offices and see if you can get them to run. And you got to support them. We've got to be able to train those candidates, train campaign staff to help them get elected. We have got to give of our time and give of our money to help candidates be successful.
That's right.
Because I can tell you, when I first ran, it was 2012. And it was, they had just redistricted in 2011. It was after they cleaned our clocks, and I always call it a blacklash because I think it's because a black man, President Obama, was elected. So in 2010, they lost their minds, and it was all these Republicans came in. And so that when they redistricted, my district that I lived in was like about a +2 Democratic district, and I had a Democrat for 22 years. Well, they changed it. When they redistricted, they made it about a +12 R district. And so he retired. He didn't want to fight that fight. And I tried so hard as party chair to recruit a candidate. Nobody wanted to take on that challenge. And everybody's like, Gloria, it's your district. And I was like, yeah, but let's find somebody. Because I feel like, with my mouth, probably not the best deal. But, actually, now it doesn't matter. But I decided to do it and run. And I won by just under 300 votes.
Wow.
And then when I went to Nashville, a lot of my own colleagues said, Gloria, you need to kind of be quiet, not be very vocal, because they'll beat you next time. They're going to spend a bunch of money and beat you. And I was like, I didn't come up here to be quiet. What's the point of getting elected if I'm not speaking truth to power? So as a teacher, I spoke against privatization. I was incredibly vocal. They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars against me in my next election, and I lost by 180 votes. Then the next election, I was like, 180? That's not bad. Try it again. That time they spent $700,000 against me of privatization money. All this money comes from out of state. Why are these, quote, We Love Education organizations spending millions of dollars to be educators if they cared about kids' education? But in 2018, we had a candidate running in the House in all 99 seats. We had a Democratic challenger in every seat. 2018, I came back and won by 2,500 votes.
Wow.
So when we run a good candidate everywhere, it ties them up, and more of us can get elected. So we need to fill those Democratic ballots. We need to give voters a choice, because I think a lot of voters are going to be making a different choice this time.
Yeah.
And we need to help them, and we've got to give them a choice, but we've got to give them a good choice. And you don't have to be a politico. When I first ran, I was a school teacher. Nobody, I hadn't been elected before. And sometimes that's good. Be somebody well-known in your community. You don't have to be an elected official. And also look at the office. Does it make sense for you? Should you run for school board? Should you run for county commission? A lot of people want to jump into that highest office first. It's probably better to run something at a lower level. We need to start building our bench and making sure that we're giving a choice for all of those seats. And a lot of times a person will run and they won't win, they won't come back the next time. We need somebody who's going to stay with it, who's going to show the community, I'm here to fight for you. I'm here to fight with you. And it's not about me. I'm only as good as the voices I'm able to lift from my district. Because it's not my seat, it's the district seat. And it's about lifting those voices in the district and showing people that they are the ones with the power. Because I'm sick and tired of it being the money people with the power.
That's right.
Because we do better when we all do better. And that's why it's so important. That's why Democrats want to lift others up while my colleagues across the aisle are kicking out the ladder after they get to the top.
That's right.
I think we have a founding father back here.
Thank you. My name is Valentine Knucklebug. I am the Constitution. You can't see my signature, it's faded, but I've been in contact with customer service right there. Straight out. But anyway, I'd just like to talk briefly about the people we are dealing with. The reminders of who they are. In my time, when we settled the Tennessee Valley, we had to go to Kings Mountain to crush them. And we did. We called them Loyals. And during the Civil War, we called them Confederates, and we crushed them. Then, pre-World War II, we called them America First under Charlie Lindbergh, and they were pushed back. Then, we called them segregationists, and we defeated them. Thank you. Can you hear me now? Anyway, I digress. My point is, there's more of us than there are of them.
That's right.
You stand in line and you sad and you think, oh, am I alone? No, you are not alone. Look at this room. Look at these people. Look at these leaders we have. There are people who can do this, and you are them. And you're asking, our gentleman asked us, what can you do? You can talk to your friends. You may not agree with them, because like today, as the Loyalists and the Confederates of yore, the America First and the segregationists, today we call them MAGA. And that's who they are. These people have always been with us. They've always been ungovernable. They've always been lawless. And as we see, they have the power now. But we will crush them. Mark my words. And that's all I've got to say.
How about this gentleman over here in the 423 hat?
Thank you. I guess I don't need a mic.
Oh,
yeah. Do I need a mic? He got it.
All right. My name is Herman Garcia. I also participate in the Brady local chapter of Brady Group here in Tennessee. And my biggest concern, and a lot of other people here, just like I'm sure you still have this to your heart, is protecting children against gun violence. So my biggest concern is, what are we going to do in the next couple of years to pass legislation to try to protect our children in schools, and even just anybody that's walking down the street that might all of a sudden be confronted with guns. That's my concern. And one correction, The change that we can make is in a year and a half, not 3.5 years. We can make that correction in 1.5 years. We've got to get together and vote.
Yes, that's right. That's something that me and my colleagues continually talk about is gun violence and what can we do. It's so frustrating to see my colleagues up there talking about, we want to protect kids from, you know, in transgender athletes in sports, which not a single transgender woman has tried to play sports in Tennessee. Not one. However, we have children being shot in their classrooms.
That's right.
That is real, that is happening, and when they expelled my 2 colleagues and tried to expel me for making sure those thousands of people who showed up every day at the Capitol in tears, begging for us to help their kids, and kids begging for us to help them and protect them, they only passed a gun bill that protected gun manufacturers from being sued. That's what they did, and that's what they addressed. We had people from the Tennessee Firearms Association wearing AR-15 gun pins, intentionally going to sit next to Covenant parents in the gallery on purpose, trying to start something. It's sickening, folks. When I was a kid, I never ever had to worry about being shot in my classroom. Did not have to worry about it. But in 2008, when I was teaching at Central High School, down in my classroom in the morning, preparing it for the kids when they got out of breakfast, and all of a sudden I hear screaming and see kids running down the hill to my classroom, tears and screaming. And when they all came in, kids I knew, kids I didn't know, trying to figure out what happened, and they just saw their friend get shot. One of our special ed students died on the cafeteria floor, and some of my kids watched him take his last breath. You will never forget that. I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget the alarm that went out to all families to come and get their kids, and we stayed there. My job was to be at the circle where people pick up the kids and greet the parents and help the kids get in their car and get all the kids home, and just going home in shock that day. And we're still not doing anything to address it. And nobody's talking about getting rid of the Second Amendment. We are talking about making sure that dangerous folks don't have firearms. Simple red flag laws or extreme risk protection orders, a way to temporarily remove guns from folks in crisis. We're talking about universal background checks or enhanced as well background checks, which is something NRA members used to agree to 90%. We're talking about bringing back gun permits for carry. We're talking about banning assault weapons, weapons of war that we don't need in the homes. I am a gun owner. I have a gun at my home. I'm a responsible gun owner. You can have a gun to protect yourself or your family in your home. You can have guns to hunt. But if you need an assault weapon to kill a deer, maybe you shouldn't have guns. I'm just saying. Let's be realistic. Let's truly protect our children. Don't tell me you're protecting children and you're saying, oh, there's no Epstein list. You don't protect children, and don't you ever call a teacher a groomer again, because I will come for you. Because you guys are the ones allowing these child molesters to not be investigated. And I don't care if they're Republicans or Democrats. If they're guilty, they need to go.
That's right.
all the teachers that have been a part of my life that has given me the bravery to come up here and talk. I'm going to do my best to hold my emotions. There's been a lot of talk about the Medicaid cuts, and I work for a Medicaid managed care organization, so I first want to offer assistance to any Medicaid recipient or ACA recipient in the room. I don't have answers about cost, but I can help you navigate benefits while you have them. I'm scared to lose my job. To bring it back to a local level, the Tennessee Medical Ethics Defense Act that was passed, kind of back up a little bit. In 2022, I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. My provider was hesitant to treat me because of the impact it could have on my fertility. Now, I just found out, I just found out that I'm pregnant again. I've been with my partner for about 15 years, though we're not married. I just had my first visit, and that provider told me that thanks to that act, they were not comfortable treating me because I am an unwed mother, and that goes against their Christian values. I'm lucky enough to live in a part of the state where I can seek care across state lines, and that's what I'm doing, traveling to Virginia for my prenatal care. Scared out of my mind that I will go into labor and not be able, or have to deliver in this state with a provider who feels that that child's life is more valuable than mine. While we do love and want this child, I also have a 13-year-old, and I can't leave her behind. I call Marsha's office twice a day. I'm either blocked or she has all calls going directly to voicemail. I've never even reached a staffer. And when I contacted Bill Hagerty's office, I was told that he's not obligated to listen to his constituents. Love that. Not really sure why my taxes are paying for them. I feel like you should be obligated to talk to your boss. My question is, yes, I can file AMA complaints. Yes, I can file DOI complaints. There are other women that don't know how to take those steps, who don't have the luxury. And ultimately, that medical ethics bill, which is an anti-LGBTQ bill, that's what it is. Let's call it what it is. It's an anti-ethics bill, exactly that. But in addition to impacting those communities, it's going to impact those lives that they are so pro, that they so want to protect. When I'm not able to get a hold of my representatives, all I can do is hold out until a primary. All I can do is hold out until an election and hope that others are awake enough to see what's happening. But what are we expected to do if those elections fail? You've said it before, we're not necessarily a red state, we're a non-voting state. And if you go and look at the numbers, you're absolutely correct. But in the event that people are not fed up, or that they're not aware enough, what do? I'm scared to death. Thank you for being here. Thank you and the Justins. My 13-year-old said, "Mom, teach me how to use my voice like she does." So thank you for everything, and I'll pass the mic to my question.
Well, thank you for being brave enough to tell your story. Because those stories need to be told. I don't give a damn if you're married or not, and nobody should. And if you are an ethical, practicing physician, you shouldn't care either. I say we say those folks' names too and make them famous. Because that is unacceptable. But I know so many people who are crossing borders to get care. And that is scary to me. But that is what the current Republican Party is setting us up for. We will keep fighting for you and everyone like you. We will absolutely, I will fight until I have no breath in my body. But I can't tell, a couple of families that I know have moved because they do not feel safe because of this very thing. I don't understand why the folks that I work with across the aisle are so ignorant of how most of the people in their districts live. I feel like they go to Republican meetings and church and don't talk to anybody who doesn't agree with them ever.
That's right.
Well, they certainly don't listen. But, I mean, like, I'm a Democrat in red Knox County. So every time I go outside, I talk to as many Republicans as I talk to Democrats. I know what's happening. And I also know that Republicans in my district also want to expand Medicaid. I know that Republicans in my district support Planned Parenthood and believe most people, most of them, well over a majority, believe that that health care is a right and that everyone deserves affordable health care. But my colleagues in the legislature are not supporting Medicaid expansion, even though the majority of their districts do. The Americans for Prosperity don't, and the Beacon Center don't. And that's who they're listening to. So I wish I could make you a promise that in these elections, we're gonna fix things. But as long as they are suppressing the votes in Tennessee, it's tough, and they make it tough intentionally. We found out last election that 1 in 5 black men, that only 1 in 5 black men can vote or can't vote. I can't remember what the percentage was. But this is all intentional. In most states, when you do the time for your crime, you complete your prison sentence for your felony, you can walk out of prison and get your voting rights back. Not in Tennessee. You have to jump through 1 million hoops. It's ridiculous. And they're not making it easier, they're making it harder intentionally. And now, as we say, if you're a married woman who takes their husband's name, you're going to have a tough way of it. I mean, I literally recommend to people, keep your name when you get married. I mean, seriously. Or don't get married, as you are doing. The reality is, this is what they want to force everybody to do, but what they don't understand, I cannot tell you how many young friends getting out of college are telling me, I'm not going to have kids. Or if I have kids, I'm not having kids in Tennessee. I hear it multiple times every single day. I don't want to bring a kid into this world. And so every single policy they bring to the table discourages people from getting married or having children or staying in Tennessee. We just had a report come out that Tennessee was the #1 worst livable city in the country. And Bill Lee's always bragging, we're #1. Well, here we are. We're #1 in everything bad. Maternal mortality, child mortality, health outcomes, funding education, 47th in the country. And then places to live. Violence, way too high in violence for a state like this. Yeah, we're #1, all right. And medical bankruptcy, of course, because we haven't expanded Medicaid. So we're going to keep fighting, but we've got to get more people to the polls. We've got to break through. Our message is good because our message is about helping Tennessee's working families. But the problem is we're not breaking through the noise and propaganda on the other side, because most people now, if you're an independent or a Republican, you're not getting your news from, say, television media or newspaper. You're getting it from some psycho's YouTube channel with a bunch of nonsense on it. And so we've got to break through in our communities, talking to each other, the people we work with, and our neighbors. And sometimes those conversations are uncomfortable. Just July 4th, we've always had my family reunion on July 4th. And for the last few years, we haven't done it. A lot of the older folks are died and we're getting it together. And pretty much I'm the only D at the family reunion of like 100 people. But it was really interesting. I'm like, do I want to go? Do I want to hear some of this stuff? And I was like, I'm going to go and I'm gonna have those conversations. If they want to have the conversations, because I typically don't start it, but I will finish it every time. So I was ready. And all I had were a couple people quietly come up to me. It was so great to vote for my cousin for the first time. Or I really appreciate what you're doing for the first time. Wow. And so it was really very interesting. And one person said something to me about immigration, but I knew that person was doing what I used to call, we do to my mom, 911 grand, which means we'd say something to get her all excited and angry about something. So they were just trying to get a rise out of me when they said it. So I just totally ignored them and walked away. And they're like, Gloria, you know I was joking. And this person is my guy. I was like, yeah, I know you're joking. I know you're pushing my buttons, and I wasn't going to let you. And I said, what do you think about that alligator Alcatraz anyway? He's like, oh, that's gross. That's too much. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get into it with him. I'm going to let him sit with that. He's moving in the right direction. I'm going to help him come to that. And that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
We need to have the uncomfortable conversations without being confrontational.
That's right.
Just give them something to think about. Is this what our grandfathers fought for in World War II? I don't think it is. They were anti-fascist, as I recall.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to remind people who this country is. Because I believe 10, 15 years ago, my community didn't hate black people or brown people or LGBTQ people. I mean, some did, it's been there. I'm not saying that racism and bigotry ever went away, but it was under the surface. But this president has brought it to the top. In the Tennessee legislature, there are people marching in Nashville with swastikas, and in East Tennessee and in West Tennessee, marching with swastika flags, because what they're hearing out of the legislature is their language. And they're showing up because they feel welcome. And we need to shame them back to the gutters. And we need to make it ugly again to be misogynist or bigoted or racist. Because it's dangerous. It is dangerous to be an immigrant right now. It's dangerous in the black community. It's dangerous in the LGBTQ community, disabled, seniors. These people are at risk. And we've got to be there for these folks because they're going to need us. And people who look like me, white people, need to be the ones standing up and standing in those spaces to keep other people safe.
Oh, yeah.
I wish we had time for more questions, but I need to introduce Terry Yates, the organizer of this event, has a few things to say. Woo!
All right. You all should know better than give me a microphone. This just feels so powerful. I would really, I know you all are so grateful, as I am, for Tybre Faw and for Gloria Johnson. I asked them to come up. I have a gift for them. So there was a great progressive one time that said, speak softly and carry a big stick. And so I have for you a stick. This stick was made, is purchased here actually in the Jonesborough Visitor Center, a nominal amount. And it was made by a local man named Alan Dearstone, who apparently will even make them for people who just need one. But he also sells them here. He's a local artist. Thank you so much for being here. You've lifted our voices, and we're just honored for your presence. I have a bunch of people actually out on the Don't you go anywhere. All right, so there's a lot of people I want to thank tonight. Sometimes this is not the end of the show. We've got two more things that are actually pretty quick. But I do want to thank James Francis, our great master of ceremony. and Debbie Gehring for starting this. And boy, what a testament. Debbie, stand up, please. What a testament to what one person can do. I would like to thank our characters who came tonight. The handmaid. Please stand. Our chicken. And behind the scenes, doing the quiet work that sometimes gets overlooked, is the Women's Action Group. And if you are a member of the Women's Action Group, please stand, and that includes Eddie and John. Women's Action Group. Amy, Wendy, I know you're back there. These are the people who make it happen. And I really, really appreciate them. We've been working on this since April. All of the volunteers for this event, if you took tickets, if you get and hand out flyers, would you please stand? Come on, stand up, happy everybody. There was a bunch of people. I want to talk about a group of people who are very important to me, and those are the people who stand on People Street twice a week. Rain or shine or 95-degree heat, please stand up right now. We want to recognize, if you've been there one time, get up. We are so proud of your good trouble. Not everybody can come. Look at these people. And I want you to stand up, stay standing up, because I want anybody that's ever been to a protest, ever in their life, to stand up. Yes. Get up. Stand up. Thank you. And the volunteers. Volunteers are the lifeblood of everything. Safety monitors, people who drag water around, carry the megaphone and make their voice dry. And the other volunteers from other things, phone banks, going door to door, showing up at a parade, walking behind a parade, people who go to the dinners and take the tickets. All of it matters. My husband has written since 2018 50,000 postcards. And he's going to kill me for telling me this. 50,000. And he's not the only one writing postcards. There are people all in this group that I know they're writing postcards, because a lot of them have them in my house. There are all kinds of things that you can do. We've got people who've done drives, diaper drives, food drives. Thank you tonight to the Wootens for taking up the school supply, and thank you all for bringing your things. But I do want to bring up, if anybody in this room has ever run for office, would you please stand? Now that right there, that's what I'm talking about. And you know what makes that go? I'm not ashamed to ask for money. We need it.
We do.
We need the money. You know why we're not winning? Well, we don't have the votes. But why do we not really have the votes? We had 2,000 people in Kingsport. Money. Money. If you put $2 in there, I'll be happy. If you are a member of if you are any county chair, vice chair, secretary, any officer of any county, please stand. If you are an EC member, join me. EC members. There's so many things we can do, and honestly, we can pray, and some of you, that's what you do, and I appreciate that as well. And I think that there is a lot of work that we can do. Some of us are going to get out there, we're going to be on the streets, and some of us need to do the quiet work. But all of it matters, all of it's good trouble, and thank you very much. I want to bring up Colonel Catherine Bacon. And she is going to lead us in the oath to the Constitution.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends. I don't know all of you all, but I do feel the deep connections that we all have with one another, that we have, and that I pray and I know will continue to grow stronger as we grow bolder. Right? We just have to. I think most of y'all are probably like me. I never was at a protest before in my life. I never protested. And when I was in college and the protests were going on, I was playing sports. I was at the gym. So the thing is, it's just important, right? So see something, say something. Yeah. That's what's made me move off the dime, and I hope that's what will make all of us move out of our comfort zones. I'm sorry, I'm going to do a little preach before I do the Constitution. But I feel like it's just so, it's critical that we get out of our comfort zone and just make the reach out. Today, going to Staples, getting a poster printed, somebody gave me a thumbs up because I put no king. Where's Noah? Where's Bob? Bob and Noah. Right. Because I put no kings on my truck. I've got all over my truck, no kings. I get thumbs up almost every day, at least one. And somebody pulled up to Staples and said, I like it. I was like, oh, what? I like that. I like it. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. Then I thought, oh, yeah. I said, hey, would you ever like to come to one of the Democratic Party meetings with us? Oh, yeah. And he said yes. So, you know what? We just need to find not the things that will divide us, but something that will connect us, because we're connected. There's lots of people worried, not just us. And I think we just need to be out of our comfort zones and reach out and hold a hand and just try and welcome people to come and be brave to step into the unresisting. I'm not going to stand for that. Nice. So getting to what we will stand for, I spent 30 years in the Air Force and mostly I think as I grew in the Air Force, I grew not only in understanding what my responsibilities and the seriousness of the nature of my responsibilities were, but also the seriousness of my oath to the Constitution. It became more and more important to me. As I said it, every time I got promoted, we swear and we restate our oath to the Constitution. And now, I want to suggest that we can say it together as citizens. So we say this, it's an oath, and I'm going to lead you to it. I'm going to ask all of you if you want to stand and say this with me. We will face the flag. Then I will lead. I will say the oath. Some of you know it. I know there's a lot of veterans out there. Raise your hands. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your service to our country. This is an oath of office. It's an oath of office that our president is supposed to have taken. That when he was supposed to put his hand on the Bible and swear this. However, it's an oath and you can affirm or you can swear, but we will say it with conviction, I believe. Right? So if you will rise with me, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I, and state your name. I do solemnly swear or affirm. Do solemnly swear or affirm. That I will defend. the Constitution of the United States.
That I will defend the Constitution of the United States
Against all enemies, foreign or domestic.
against all enemies, foreign or domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
To the same.
to the same.
And that I will take this obligation freely.
And that I will take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully.
And I will well and faithfully.
Discharge the duties.
Discharge the duties.
Of the office.
Of the office.
About which I am about to enter.
About which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
To close us out, let me introduce Brad Patt, who is the Vice Chair of the Washington County Democratic Party.
Thank you very much. Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. This is kind of an amazing sight, and I think it's a moment, and I'm really appreciative to follow the people who've been up here today. Thank you, James, for emceeing. Thank you very much. Representative Gloria Johnson, where'd you go? There we go. Thank you for coming over. You've been a long supporter of Johnson City and Washington County. When we had our first fundraising dinner, Gloria Johnson spoke 5 years ago. Thank you for doing what our representatives will not do and standing up for our county. She has also helped people individually here that I know that I forward them to her. She is an advocate for everyone. And Tybre, thank you very much for being here. I'm always inspired to hear you speak. You're already a change maker. And you have an impact on this community, as you can see, and you've had a personal impact on me sharing your story, so never stop. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said, I'm Brad Patt. I'm second vice chair of the Washington County Party. I was a delegate to the DNC convention back in 2016. My wife back there was a delegate last year. And I ran for office in 2020 because of the state politics that are destroying us, and the Republican Party that is the greatest threat to your health, wealth, and well-being. Right. They are the domestic enemy, and we're seeing right now what we all knew was coming, and we warned them and they didn't listen. And so now we have had a moment to acknowledge what is happening. And so now how do we get through it? And that I have been saying to myself is to rest, recharge, and resist. To rest first. First of all, don't apologize for not doing every single thing. As Terrell said, there's a part for everyone. Yeah. There's a part for everyone. Find me, I will either help you find that job or find the person who will help you do the thing. Writing postcards, being a treasurer for someone, maybe running, maybe working their social media. There is a part for every single one of you to contribute in a way that is meaningful and that you can tolerate in your life. So rest, take care of yourself so you can contribute, so that we can work together. Then recharge. Maybe it's a book club, a podcast, getting around people that are like-minded so we don't lose hope, because they are trying to wear us down. That's part of the whole plan. Steve Bannon said it. Steve Miller, Steve Bannon, the worst of the worst people. I know y'all know who these people are. You are informed. You are the political insiders. You are the ones. Your friends don't know. You do. It's on you. It's on us. Yeah. So recharge around people that help you not lose hope, so that you can go and have those difficult conversations with your friends and family, or maybe someone you thought was a friend 10 years ago. And I know that we've all had that pain of losing relationships. And what they said up here tonight, it is a white supremacist takeover, an economic theft of black wealth, of Hispanic wealth. That's all it is. That's all it is. And when you realize they only care about money and power, everything makes sense. They're going to destroy public schools so they can profit off it. They're going to destroy the NOAA so they can charge you to know what the weather is. They're going to let communities get destroyed just down in Kerr, Texas, or in East Tennessee. They don't care. And then when everything crashes, they're going to buy it up with the billions they just gave themselves and attack them. That's what they're doing.
That's right.
That's what they're doing. So we will resist. If you're in a position to resist, you can do it quietly. You can do it loudly. If you're in a university and they're trying to destroy programs, slow them down. Lose the paperwork.
Hell yeah.
Right? I mean it. There are going to be ways to resist between now and then, including protests, including what we see now, fighting the violence that the state is bringing. Literally the Gestapo. A shortened phrase meaning secret state police. That's what the word means in German. What else is it other than masked men? It's happening here in Washington County. And we got other masked men, the blood tribe Nazis, protesting in Johnson City. And I wonder if they swapped those masks and they put on another one.
Yep. Sure did.
And when I see ice vest and I see a pink flamingo shirt that I know is associated with the goofy Boogaloo Boys, which is another white supremacist organization, it's not hard to see what's going on. Presidents normally pardon people at the end of their terms. Why did he do it at the beginning? Because he said you do whatever you want. It's a message to everyone. The violence is intentional. And whoever said about the budget, you're right. They're bringing a budget that's more than most countries' militaries. So we will resist at every point, and some of that resistance will be violent, but let's make no mistake, the state is bringing the violence, not us. We are resisting, and then when we're done resisting, we will rise.
Woo!
We will rise together. We will run for office. We will help people run for office in Washington County. We are going to run a full ballot. We have run a full ballot down to county commissioner before. This time we're going to run 15 county commissioners. So if you're someone who's ever thought about running for office, find me, let's find your district, and let's talk about it. And then we're going to find the people to help you. So we're going to do the work. We're going to do that work on the politics side. And we've built up the infrastructure. You saw everyone that stood up that's an EC member or that's a chair. And speaking of thanking people, by the way, let's make sure to not miss Carol Yates. Who is one of the most passionate organizers I've ever encountered. This is the help. We will thank you, Carol. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. So rest, recharge, resist the things that are coming, what we know, and we will support each other through the heartache of losing Medicare or your health insurance or whatever they throw at us. And we will do it together. You can find me at brad.me. I made it as easy as possible. On that page, find links to donate to the Washington County Party. If you're in another county, donate to them. Donate to a candidate you care about. This is how we're going to do it together. We will rise together and fight this. I appreciate everyone that's been here today. You inspire me all. I love you all. Thank you very much.